My beloved child, stop for a moment. Do not scroll past. Stay with me. Perhaps amidst thousands of videos, thousands of pieces of information, and countless things vying for your attention. Paused. Here, I want you to calm your heart and listen to this. You do not only have hands to earn a living. I gave you hands to work, a mind to think, abilities to develop, and a heart to love, empathize, and share. My beloved child, perhaps you are used to looking at your hands and only thinking, how to earn more, how to have more, how to cover everything, how to make the future better. I understand. I know you have responsibilities. I know the bills. I know the dreams. I know you want to take care of your family. I know you want your parents to have peace of mind. I know you want your children to have a good future. I know you want one day to no longer live in the fear of lacking. But my child, I want you to remember that your life is greater than a number in an account. Do not let earning money become the entire reason you wake up every morning. I want you to work. But I also want you to know how to live. I want you to earn money. But I also want you to know how to love. I want you to build for the future. But I do not want you to lose today. I want you to have strong hands to work and a soft heart to share. My beloved child, there are days you work from morning till night. You return home with a tired body, but your mind hasn't stopped calculating. This amount to pay, that amount to take care of, tomorrow's work, this month's goal, the things you haven't achieved. Then you lie down, but the anxiety is still awake. I know. I have seen nights like that. I know there are times you ask yourself, when will it be enough, my child? Perhaps you are trying very hard. But I want you to ask yourself a question. Am I working to build a life, or am I sacrificing life to work? Do not fear this question. I do not say it to condemn you. I say it because I love you. I do not want you to have a house, but no time to be with your family. I do not want you to have a lot of money but no peace. I do not want you to achieve success, but lose health, love, and the important people. I want you to work and still know how to live. My beloved child, labor is a precious thing. Do not be ashamed of your work, whether the job is big or small, if you do it with honesty and responsibility. I see it. I see the mornings you wake up early. I see the days you try even when no one praises you. I see the times you are disappointed, but still continue. I see the things you silently do for your family. I see. And I do not take those efforts lightly. But I also want to teach you one thing. Your hands were not only created to receive, they were also created to give. You can work with your hands, but you can also lift someone who is falling. You can share a meal. You can help someone in difficulty. You can spend time with someone lonely. You can offer an opportunity. You can hug someone in pain. You can do a kind thing without needing anyone to know. My child, that is why I want your heart to grow along with what your hands create. Do not only ask, how much did I earn? Ask, what kind of person have I become? Who have I helped? Who have I loved? How have I used what I have? Because there are people who have so much, but their hearts remain empty. And there are also people who have very little, but their lives become a source of blessing for very many people. My beloved child, if you are hearing these words and feeling that I am touching something very deep within you, take a moment to say to me, Lord, please teach me to work with faithful hands and live with a generous heart. If that is also your prayer, you can write Amen below, not to prove anything to anyone, but as a reminder to yourself that I want to live with purpose. And if you want to continue accompanying messages that help you build faith, hope, peace, and a life with purpose, follow the channel and turn on notifications. Stay with me, because I do not want you to only hear about working and sharing. I want you to understand why there are seasons. You have to work very hard, but still feel it is not enough. There are things happening deep inside you. There are fears, there are pressures, there are comparisons, and there are wounds making you think that if you had more money, you would finally feel you have value. But my beloved child, money is not the measure of your worth. You had value before you earned your first coin. You have value on the day you succeed, and you still have value on the day you fail. Do not let a number decide how you view yourself. I want you to work to build, not to prove. I want you to earn money, to care, not to chase validation. I want you to grow, but I do not want you to lose peace in the process. My child, perhaps today you only have a little. Do not despise the small thing. A little time, a little money, a little strength, a little knowledge, a little love. When placed in the right place, small things can also become blessings. Do not wait until you have a lot to start sharing. Start with what you currently have, but do it with wisdom. I do not want you to give away to the point of neglecting responsibilities. I want you to learn to balance, work, manage, save, care, share, and be grateful. My beloved child, in the next part, I want to talk to you about that times you feel you have tried so hard, but life still hasn't changed. The times you look at others, moving forward, and ask yourself, why do they have more than me? Why do I have to wait so long? I want you to know that the answer does not lie in comparison. And there is one thing I want you to see. I do not only care about what you hold in your hands, I care about the person you are becoming. Stay. I still haven't finished speaking. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer. I want to speak to you about things you may never have voiced aloud, because I know there are burdens you carry every day that no one sees. I know you do not need to explain to me. I have seen. The mornings you wake up, and the first thing that appears in your mind is not joy, but the waiting responsibilities. Rent, electricity bill, debts, family expenses, work, unfinished goals, delayed plans, and even the dreams you wonder if you will ever achieve. My beloved child, perhaps you still smile in front of everyone. You still go to work, still complete tasks, still say, I'm fine. But I know there are days you are not truly fine. There are times you step into a room, close the door, and sigh deeply. No one hears that sigh, but I hear it. There are nights you lie down, your body very tired, but your mind refuses to rest. You calculate, you think, you worry, you wonder how tomorrow will be. I am there. There are times you look at your account and feel a heavy heart. You look at what you have earned, then look at what you have to spend, and you ask yourself, why do I work so much and still feel it's not enough? My child, I understand that question. I do not blame you for wanting a better life. I do not blame you for wanting to earn more money. I do not blame you for wanting to take care of your family. Those desires do not make you a selfish person. What I want you to learn is how to keep those good desires from turning into a burden that crushes your soul. Because sometimes you don't just work to earn a living, you work out of fear. You fear failing, fear others looking down on you, fear your family being disappointed, fear the future being insecure. Fear a day when you are no longer capable of caring for the people you love, and out of fear, You run faster, you take on more work, you try harder, you sacrifice more. You tell yourself, just try a little more. But then a little more becomes many years. My beloved child, I want you to stop, not to give up, but to look at yourself. Are you running for a purpose or out of fear? This question is very important. Because when you work from purpose, you might be tired, but inside there is still meaning. But when you work from fear, even when you achieve what you want, you still feel it is not enough. You reach a goal, then immediately set another. You buy one thing, then want the next. You reach an income level, then look at others and think you are still lagging behind. My child, I do not want you to live like that. I do not want your life to become a race where the finish line always retreats. I want you to know contentment. Contentment does not mean you cannot grow. Contentment means you can move forward while still being grateful for where you stand. You can want a better house while still being grateful for your current roof. You can want a better job while still appreciating the job that feeds you. You can want a higher income while still being grateful for every small amount you currently have. You can have big dreams while still keeping a peaceful heart. My beloved child, I know there are people who have made you feel you are not good enough. Perhaps someone once looked at your job and despised it. Perhaps someone once said, "When will you succeed? When will you have money? When will you be like others?" Those words might have stayed in your mind longer than you thought. And from then on, you started trying to prove yourself. You want one day they must look at you differently. You want to prove that you are not a failure, but I want you to let that go. My child, you do not need to use success to answer those who once looked down on you. You do not need wealth to prove that you have value. You do not need a big title to be respected. You do not need to own expensive things to become a precious person. Your value does not start from a bank account, and it does not disappear when that account is low. I see the person inside you. I see how you stand up. I see how you love. I see your faithfulness. I see your silent sacrifices. I see the things others do not know, my beloved child. Perhaps you are carrying another pressure. You are worrying for your family. You feel you must be strong. You think you are not allowed to be tired, not allowed to be weak, not allowed to fail. You think, if I don't try, everything will collapse. But listen to me, you are not the savior of everyone. You have responsibilities, but you do not have the right to control everything. Do your part, but do not carry things beyond your capacity, as if you have to solve the whole world yourself. There are things you need to hand over to me, my child. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. When you are with your family, be truly present. When you pray, lay your worries down before me. Do not bring work into every moment of life. Do not let the numbers in the account become the loudest voice in your mind. Because a human being cannot live only on numbers. The heart needs love. The soul needs peace. Faith needs presence. And you need quiet moments to remember that you are not just someone earning a living, you are a human being who is living, my beloved child. There are things money can help you solve, but there are also things money cannot solve. Money can buy medicine, but cannot replace the love of someone caring for you. Money can buy a house, but cannot create a happy family on its own. Money can buy a trip, but cannot guarantee your heart is at peace. Money can open a door, but cannot give you a life purpose. So, use money in its proper place, but do not place your entire hope in money. My child, I want you to earn money with your own hands, but I want you to maintain peace in your heart. I want you to work hard, but I do not want you to become a slave to work. I want you to be responsible, but I do not want responsibility to turn into constant fear. I want you to build the future, but I also want you to live in the present. Remember this. A successful life is not only measured by what you possess, but also by what you become. And there is one more important thing. I do not only want you to learn how to receive, I want you to learn how to share. Because sometimes, precisely when you think you have too little, I show you someone who needs what you can give. It could be money, it could be time, it could be a skill, it could be an encouragement, it could just be your presence. My beloved child, do not think, when I have a lot, I will become a blessing. No, start today, but before you learn how to give, I want you to understand one thing. Giving is not to buy a blessing. You do not need to give to force me to give you more in return. You share because you have received love. You help because you understand the pain of others. You are generous because your heart is being changed. That is a generosity born from love, not from a transaction. My beloved child, if these words are touching something very real in your heart, do not quickly brush them aside. Take a little time tonight to ask yourself, what is controlling how I use my time, energy, and money? The answer might surprise you, but do not be afraid. Recognition is not to condemn you. It is the first step for you to change. And in the next part, I will speak to you about something that very many people do not realize. There are doors. I close not because I want you to fail, but because I am protecting you from a path that would make you lose yourself. Stay. I want you to look at the current season with different eyes. What I am doing within you might be more important than what you are trying to achieve on the outside. My beloved child, listen to me very carefully. There are seasons in your life that you do not understand. You pray, but haven't seen an answer. You work, but the results are not as expected. You try to change circumstances, but everything seems to stand still. You watch others around you moving forward, while you feel you are standing in place. And in those moments, a question might appear in your heart. Lord, do you still see me? My child, I see. My silence does not mean I am absent. A delay does not mean I reject you. A closed door does not mean your life has ended. There are things you want today, but I know you are not ready to carry them. There are opportunities you think will make life better, but I know they could lead you to a place unsuitable for your purpose. There are people you want to hold on to, but I know they could lead you further away from the person I want you to become. There are plans you think are best, but I see things you cannot yet see. You only see a segment of the road. I see the entire journey, my beloved child. Sometimes you ask me to open a door, but I allow that door to close. You cry. You are disappointed. You think that you have failed. But perhaps many years later, when you look back, you will understand why that door did not open. Perhaps what you once called a loss was exactly protection. Perhaps what you once called a delay was preparation time. Perhaps what you once called a failure was a lesson that success could not teach you. My child, do not rush to conclude about what I am doing just because you haven't seen the result. When a seed lies beneath the earth, it looks like it is disappearing. But inside that silence, something new is beginning. You also have seasons like that. On the outside, Nothing seems to change, but inside, you are learning patience, learning how to manage, learning to take responsibility, learning to distinguish between what you truly need and what you only want, learning not to live by comparison, learning to work without turning work into an idol, learning to have money without letting money take over your heart, learning to be in lack while still maintaining hope. Those are not useless lessons. That is maturity, my beloved child. Perhaps you are praying for an external change, but I am starting from the inside. You want a better job. I want you to become someone with enough wisdom to manage the opportunity when it comes. You want more money. I want you to learn how to use money without losing your soul. You want a more comfortable life. I want you to learn to find peace even when circumstances are not perfect. You want success. I want you to understand that success is not just having more, but also becoming someone who can do good with what they have. My child, do not only ask, "When will God change my circumstances?" Ask, "What does God want to teach me in this circumstance?" The second question can change how you view your entire life. Because if you only wait for circumstances to change, you might miss the lesson of today. But if you start learning, start growing, start changing how you think, then even in a difficult season, you are still moving forward. My beloved child, I do not want you to live in passivity. Trusting me does not mean you sit still and do nothing. If you need a job, seek one. If need to learn a skill, learn. If you need to fix how you manage money, start. If you are making a mistake, recognize it and correct it. If you need to apologize, be humble. If you need to rest, rest. If you need help, do not be too proud to say that you don't need anyone. Faith does not eliminate action. Faith leads you to the right action. My child, perhaps you have waited for a great miracle, but sometimes a miracle begins with a very small decision. A decision to stop spending money to impress. A decision to start saving. A decision to study more. A decision to leave a bad habit. A decision to spend time with family. A decision to forgive. A decision to no longer compare yourself with others. A decision to believe that your life still has a purpose. Do not despise those small steps. My beloved child, there is one thing I want you to let go of: comparison. You do not need to have a life like others. Some go faster than you. Some earn more than you. Some buy things you cannot yet buy. Some achieve things you are still praying for. Do not let that make you think I love them more than you. Do not let the success of others turn into a failure in your eyes. I do not write the same story for everyone. Your path has its own lessons, its own seasons, its own responsibilities, its own opportunities, and the things I want to form in you are also unique, my child. If you are behind others in some area, it does not mean you are on the wrong path. Perhaps you are just walking on a different path. Focus on your own steps. Do not look at others to the point of forgetting where you are going. I did not call you to chase after them. I called you to follow me, my beloved child. And if today you are in a season of lack, do not let lack make you bitter. Let it teach you to be content. If you are in a season of waiting, do not let waiting make you despair. Let it teach you patience. If you are in a season of failure, do not let failure define you. Let it teach you to stand up. If you are in a season of success, do not let success make you forget your roots. Let it teach you humility. Every season can become a classroom. And I am still the one teaching you, my child. I want you to understand a very simple thing. You do not need to know the whole plan to take the next step. You only need enough light for today. Do the right thing today. Love today. Work faithfully today. Manage well what you have today. Pray today. Trust today. Tomorrow will have the light of tomorrow. Do not carry the burden of the next 10 years on the shoulders of today, my beloved child. Perhaps I have not given you the answer you want, but I can give you peace to keep walking when there is no answer. Perhaps I haven't opened the door you are waiting for, but I can give you the wisdom to recognize which door is truly for you. Perhaps you haven't seen the new season, but you can still prepare for it. Work, learn, pray, love, keep a pure heart, manage small things well. Be faithful with what is in your hands, because sometimes what you have today is exactly where I begin what you will do tomorrow. Do not despise the present, my beloved child. If you believe that I am still guiding you, you do not need to know everything today. You only need to keep stepping, and if your heart is tired from waiting, say to me, Lord, I do not understand yet, but I still want to trust you. That is not a weak faith. That is a growing faith, my child. And what I want to say next is even more important. I want to show you that the hands you have are not only for earning money. I can use your work, your abilities, your time, and what you possess to become a source of blessing for others. But before I entrust more, I want to teach you how to be faithful with what is in your hands. Stay with me. The story ahead will help you understand deeper why working hands and a sharing heart can turn an ordinary life into a life with purpose. My beloved child, now I want you to look down at your hands. Perhaps you have never thought much about them. You wake up, you work, you hold your phone, you hold tools, you write, you drive, you cook, you care for your family, you build, you sell, you learn, you do familiar tasks over and over every day, but I want you to look at them with different eyes. Your hands are a gift. I placed in you the ability to work. I gave you a mind to think. I gave you the ability to learn. I gave you strength in every season that you can use. I gave you talents that perhaps you yourself haven't fully realized. Therefore, do not just look at your work as a means to receive money. Look at it as an opportunity to create value. My beloved child, perhaps your current job is not the job you once dreamed of. Perhaps you have thought, this is not where I want to be. This is not what I want to do my whole life. I understand, but do not let that make you despise your current season. If today you are in a place that is not the final destination, learn what needs to be learned there. Do your assigned tasks well. Observe. Grow. Accumulate experience. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to take responsibility. Learn how to handle failure. Learn how to work with people who are different from you. Learn how to maintain peace under pressure. Those things can become provisions for your next season. Do not just pray for a new door. Prepare yourself for that door. My child, there are people who pray to me for a big opportunity, but ignore the small responsibilities right in front of them. They want to be entrusted with more, but are not yet faithful with what they have. I want you to follow a different path. If you are given a small task, do it very well. If you are given a customer, serve them with honesty. If you are given a project, do it responsibly. If you are given a sum of money, manage it wisely. If you are given a family, care for them. If you are given a talent, develop it. If you are given an opportunity, use it. Do not think that only grand things have meaning. A life with purpose is often built from small things done faithfully. My beloved child, I also want you to understand that working hard does not mean you must work without resting. I do not want you to turn busyness into a medal. Some people are proud because they never rest. Some think that the more tired they are, the more it proves they are succeeding. But you were not created to be a machine. You need rest. You need family. You need quiet moments. You need to pray. You need time to reflect on yourself. A person who does not know how to rest might earn a lot of money but lose the ability to enjoy the things they are building. My child, I want you to have a healthier rhythm of life. Work when it is time to work. Rest when it is time to rest. Focus when it is time to focus. Be with your family when your family needs you. And when you are before me, let your heart be still. Do not bring all the numbers into your prayer time. Do not let work become a louder voice than my presence, because you need money to live, but you also need peace to live. My beloved child, I want you to view your work with a different question. Not just, how much does this job pay me? But also, what kind of person is this job helping me become? Is it teaching you patience? Teaching you responsibility? Helping you serve others? Helping you develop your abilities, creating something useful? Helping you care for the people you love? Those questions are important. Perhaps one day you will earn more money, but if you become a bitter, arrogant, and perpetually dissatisfied person, have you truly moved forward? My child, I want you to grow both externally and internally. Increase your abilities, but also increase your wisdom. Increase your income if possible, but also increase your gratitude. Build a career, but also build your character. Expand your work, but also expand your heart. That is the maturity I want you to have. My beloved child, there is one thing I want you to avoid. Do not turn money into the sole measure of success. If today you earn less than others, that does not make you less valuable. If your work is not known by many, that does not mean your work is meaningless. If you are starting over at an age you think is too late, do not despair. I do not look at you using someone else's clock. You do not need to go at their pace. Some start early, some start late. Some walk a straight line, some have to turn many times. The important thing is that you keep walking with faithfulness. Do not let comparison steal the joy in your journey. My child, if you are looking for a new job, look with wisdom. If you want to advance your career, prepare. If you want to do business, learn and consider carefully. If you want to increase your income, find ways to create real value. Do not chase after promises of getting rich quick. Do not let greed cause you to make hasty decisions. Do not trade honesty for immediate gain. A profit achieved by hurting others is not the foundation I want you to build upon. Earn money with clean hands and a peaceful conscience. My beloved child, I want you to work with excellence, not to prove you are better than others, but because you respect what you are doing. When you do a small task, do it well. When you serve someone, serve kindly. When you say a word, speak the truth. When you promise, try to keep your word. When you make a mistake, take responsibility. That is how character is built, and character will accompany you longer than money. My child, I know there are days you feel your work is meaningless. You wake up, work, return, then repeat. But remember that sometimes the value of a job does not lie in the glamorous feeling it brings. A caregiver might be providing comfort. A person cooking a meal might be caring for a whole family. A driver might be helping someone arrive safely. An honest salesperson might be helping a customer choose right. An ordinary worker might be contributing to building the lives of many people. Do not despise what you are doing. If you do it with love and faithfulness, a small thing can also carry great meaning, my beloved child. But the hands I gave you are not only for working, they are also to open up. Open up to help, open up to share, open up to give, open up to lift others up. That is where the next part of the journey begins. Because if you only know how to work without knowing how to love, you might build many things but still feel empty. I do not want you to only ask, how much can I earn? I want you to ask, who can I become a blessing to? My child, perhaps you do not have a lot of money yet. That is okay. Start with what you have. Have time, share time. Have knowledge, share knowledge. Have strength, help. Have a word of encouragement, speak it. Have the ability to open a door for someone else. Do not keep it just for yourself. Have a little finances. Use it wisely to help within your means. A generous heart does not begin when you are rich. It begins when you understand that what you have is not only for you. My beloved child, I do not want you to live with the mindset, wait until I have more. Live today. No need to do grand things. A small action in love is still a valuable action. And when you learn how to work with faithful hands while keeping a sharing heart, you will begin to understand something very profound. Success is not only what you keep in your hands. Success is also what you can give away without losing yourself. My child, I want you to step into the new season with hands ready to work and a heart ready to love. Do not only ask me to give you more, ask me to teach you to manage better what you already have. Do not only ask for an opportunity, become a person ready for an opportunity. Do not only ask for money, ask for wisdom to use money correctly. Do not only ask for success, ask for a heart humble enough so that success does not change you for the worse. My beloved child, I placed those hands in you. I also placed a heart in you, and I want both to mature together. Hands to work, a heart to love, hands to build, a heart to share, hands to create value, a heart to remember that the greatest value does not lie in what you possess. Stay with me, because in the next part, I want to teach you something very important. How to become generous without being foolish, how to give without losing responsibility, and how to have more while still keeping a humble heart. That is where I want to take you. Next, my beloved child, listen to me. I have spoken to you about hands for working. Now I want to speak about something deeper, your heart, because a person can work very hard, earn a lot of money, build many things, but if their heart only knows how to keep for themselves, that person might still feel empty. I do not want you to live like that. I want you to have a heart that knows how to receive, but also knows how to give, knows how to be helped, but also knows how to help others, knows how to receive a word of love, but also knows how to speak a word of love, knows how to enjoy the fruits of labor, but also remembers that you can become a blessing to others. My beloved child, perhaps you have thought, I don't even have enough. How can I share? I understand that thought. If you are struggling to cover every expense, I do not tell you to give beyond your means. If your family needs your care, be responsible for your family. If you are in debt, learn how to resolve it wisely. If you are facing hardship, do not give just out of pressure or guilt. I do not want your generosity to become a burden. I want it to spring from love. My child, sharing does not mean you have to give away everything you have. Sometimes sharing is just a small part, a meal, a glass of water, a sum of money within your means, a simple gift, an hour you spend with someone lonely, a phone call to check in, a timely word of encouragement, an opportunity you give to someone else, knowledge you do not keep only for yourself, a prayer you silently offer for someone who is suffering. Do not think that small things have no value. Love often begins with very small things. My beloved child, I want you to learn how to see the needs of others. Because when you only look at your own life, you will always feel you are lacking something. But when you start looking around, you will realize that there are people who need something that you can give. Someone needs money, someone needs food, someone needs a job, someone needs advice, someone needs to be listened to, someone just needs a person to sit beside them without judging. Someone is smiling in front of everyone but breaking inside. And sometimes I might place you there, not for you to solve all their problems, but for you to become a little light in their very dark day. My child, do not think that you must become a wealthy person to be able to do good. A person with a lot of money can help with money. A person with little money can still help with time. A person with knowledge can help with knowledge. A person with experience can help with advice. A person with strong hands can help with strength. A person with a loving heart can help with presence. Everyone has something to give, and so do you, my beloved child. But I want you to remember an important thing. Do not give to be admired by others. Do not post every good deed you do just to receive praise. Do not help someone and expect them to be indebted to you. Do not give to prove that you are better than others. Do not turn generosity into a transaction. When you share, let love be the reason. Because if you give only to be recognized, you will be disappointed when no one thanks you. But if you give out of love, you can have peace even when no one knows. My child, I also want you to learn to give without controlling the recipient. When you help someone, do not think that you own their life. When you give someone an opportunity, do not use that to manipulate them. When you forgive, do not constantly bring up their mistakes. True love does not always say, "I did this for you." Love can say, "I help you because I want what is good for you." My beloved child, perhaps you have been taken advantage of by others. Perhaps you gave a lot but were betrayed. Perhaps you helped someone, and in the end you were the one hurt. And from then on you decided, "I will never give to anyone again." I understand that pain, but do not let one person's hurt make your heart cold toward everyone else. Learn to be generous along with wisdom. Not everyone needs you to save them. Not every call requires your response. Not everyone who comes to you has good intentions. Therefore, pray for discernment. Know when to help. Know how to help. Know your limits. Know how to take care of your responsibilities. And know that saying no in some cases does not make you a selfish person. My child, I want you to have a broad heart but a clear mind. Love, but do not lose wisdom. Give, but do not neglect your family. Help, but do not let others control you with guilt. Be generous, but be responsible. That is maturity. My beloved child, I want you to look back at what you currently have. Perhaps you have a job. Be grateful. Perhaps you have a home. Be grateful. Perhaps you have a family. Be grateful. Perhaps you have health, time, knowledge, or a skill. Be grateful. Do not only look at the things you do not have to the extent of forgetting the things already placed in your hands. Gratitude is where generosity begins. When you are grateful, you no longer see everything as your absolute property. you begin to understand. I have received many things that I could not create myself: an opportunity, a helper, guidance, an open door, an ability, a new day, a breath, someone who is still beside you. There are so many things you receive every day that you cannot buy with money, my child. Therefore, do not let money become the center of your heart. Let it become a tool to care, a tool to build, a tool to serve, a tool to create opportunities, a tool to share. But do not let it become the master. You possess money, but money must not possess you. My beloved child, I want you to be able to rejoice when receiving the fruits of your labor. Enjoy the good things within your means. Do not feel guilty because you want a better life. But when you have more, remember those who have less. When your dining table is full, remember someone is hungry. When you have an opportunity, remember someone is looking for a door. When you are lifted up, remember someone needing a hand to pull them up, not for you to become their savior, but for you to become someone who knows how to love. My child, if you are listening to this point and your heart realizes that for too long you have only focused on earning and keeping, do not condemn yourself. I do not call you back with shame. I call you with grace. Start again, a new decision, a new habit, a new perspective, a new heart. Perhaps starting today, every time you receive something, you will ask, how can I use this to do good for someone? That is a question that can change your life, my beloved child, and I want you to remember, giving does not make you smaller. A generous heart is not a weak heart. On the contrary, it is a heart strong enough not to be controlled by the fear of lacking. When you know you do not need to keep everything for yourself, you begin to be free. Free from greed, free from comparison, free from the fear that others have more than you, free to rejoice when others are blessed, free to help when you have the ability, free to live with gratitude. My child, if today you only remember one thing in this part, remember, I do not only want to give you hands that know how to work, I want to form in you a heart that knows how to share. Because what you keep might feed you for a time, but what you give away in love can leave a mark on another person's life. And in the next part, I want to bring you to a story in the Bible. A very simple story, but containing a profound lesson about offering what one has even if it seems small. Stay with me, because sometimes what you think is too little is exactly what I can use in a way you have never thought of. My beloved child, remember the story of the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. Amidst a very large crowd, what he had seemed far too little, but he was willing to offer what he had. And I want you to understand one thing. I do not only look at the quantity, I look at the heart. Perhaps today you also look at your life and think, I have too little. Little money, little time, few opportunities, little ability, little experience. You look at others and see they have more than you, and then you think that you cannot do anything meaningful. But my beloved child, do not despise the small thing I have placed in your hands. You do not need to have a lot to become a blessing. If you have a little money, use it wisely. If you have time, dedicate a portion to someone in need. If you have knowledge, share it. If you have strength, help. If you have a word of encouragement, speak it. If you can pray for someone, pray. Do not think you have to solve all of someone else's problems. You only need to be faithful with your part, my child. Perhaps you have given and then been hurt. You helped someone but were taken advantage of. You trusted but were betrayed. Therefore, you have closed the door to your heart. I understand, but I do not want a wound in the past to decide how you love in the future. Be generous, but also be wise. Not everyone needs you to save them. Not every call requires your response. Know your limits. Take care of your responsibilities. Protect your family. Manage what you have, but do not let wisdom become an excuse for you to never give. My beloved child, remember Joseph, someone who had been betrayed by his own brothers, but when placed in a position where he could help, he did not just use his power for revenge. He became a source of rescue for those in need. That teaches you a lesson. When I lead you through a difficult season, I can use those very lessons to make you empathetic towards others. The days you were lacking can teach you to appreciate the times you needed. Help can make you reach out your hand. Your failures can make you know how to say to others, "Do not give up." I understand that feeling, my child. Therefore, if one day you have more, do not forget the days you had less. If one day you have a better job, remember the days you were looking for an opportunity. If one day you have the ability to help others, remember the feeling of someone who once needed help. Do not let success make you forget gratitude. I also do not want you to think that sharing means giving away everything. No, work, save, care for your family. Prepare for the future, and within your means, share. A generous heart is not a foolish heart. You can build the future while helping others. You can care for yourself while becoming a blessing. My beloved child, do not give to buy a blessing. Do not think, if I give, God must give back to me more. No, give out of love, share out of gratitude, help because you understand that you also once received help. Then, giving is no longer a transaction, it becomes an expression of love. My child, today, look at what is in your hands. Do not only look at the things you do not have, ask, with what I currently have, what good thing can I do? Perhaps the answer is very small, but do not despise it, because a life with purpose is not built only by grand actions. It is built from small things done with a sincere heart. Your hands are for working, your heart is for loving, and what I place in your hands can become a blessing when you know how to use it with wisdom and love. That is exactly what I want you to remember, my beloved child. Now I do not want you to only listen, I want you to live what you have heard. Faith does not only reside in the words you say when you pray. Faith is also expressed through how you work, how you use money, how you treat your family, and how you share with those in need of help. My child, do not think you have to change your entire life in one day. Start with a small step. If you have been too focused on money, learn to pause and be grateful for what you currently have. If you have been too busy with work, truly dedicate time to the people you love. If you are wanting to earn more income, learn and work with honesty instead of chasing easy but unwise paths. If you have the ability to help a person, help within the scope of what you can. Do not wait until you have a lot to start sharing. My beloved child, today, look at your hands and ask, how am I using what God gave me? Do you have time? Use a portion to love. Do you have knowledge? Share it. Do you have money? Manage it wisely and be generous within your means. Do you have strength? Help. Do you have a word of encouragement? Speak it. Not every action needs to be grand. A small deed done with love still has value. My child, I also want you to learn balance. Work hard, but do not become a slave to work. Earn money, but do not let money rule your heart. Save, but do not live in the fear of lacking. Give, but do not neglect your responsibilities. Build for the future, but do not forget to live in today. That is wisdom. My beloved child, if your heart is being touched, say to me, Lord, please teach me to work with faithfulness, manage with wisdom, and share with love. Then, turn that prayer into action, a good decision, a new habit, an apology, a saving, a time of helping, an hour for family, a kind act without needing anyone to know. Start from the small thing, my child. I do not demand that you be perfect. I want you to be faithful. Do not compare your steps with others. You do not need to live their lives. Live true to what I have placed in your hands. Work with your hands, love with your heart, give with wisdom, and walk by faith. Because ultimately, I do not want you to just look back and say, how much did I earn? I want you to be able to say, how did I live? Who did I love? Who did I help? And whose blessing did my life become? My beloved child, that is what has lasting value. Keep stepping. I am with you, my beloved child. You have walked with me to this point. Now look back at all that I have said. I gave you hands to work, but I also gave you a heart to love and share. Do not let money become the ultimate goal of your life. Work, try hard, build the future, but do not forget to live. Do not forget family. Do not forget gratitude. Do not forget those who need a lifting hand. My beloved child, if one day I give you more, remember the days you had little. If I open a new door, step through with humility. If you have abundance, let that abundance become an opportunity to love. If you are still lacking, do not think that your life has no value. Your value does not reside in a bank account. You have value because you are loved, and I want that love to flow through you to others. My child, do not wait for a perfect day to begin living with purpose. Begin today. A small action, a kind word, a time of helping, an honest decision, a moment for family, a sincere prayer. Those small things can become the stones that build a meaningful life. If you want, say to me right now, Lord, please help me work with faithful hands and share with a generous heart. I will remind you that money is a tool, not a master. Work is a part of life, not the whole of life. And true success is not just how much you have, but what kind of person you have become. My beloved child, I am with you. I have never forgotten you. Walk in faith, peace, and love. Work, love, share, and live a life that, when looking back, your heart can be at peace. I love you. Amen.